Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Creative Brief with Swaraj Singh. And today is a special episode because we have our first female guest on the show. And trust me, she is not only an incredible designer but also the founder of save.design, a product that many designers worldwide use and love. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely should. And honestly, after talking with her, I felt really inspired. She is incredibly talented, thoughtful, and strong. So please welcome Violetta Samko.
Hello, Swaraj. Thank you for having me.
Hello, Violetta. It's such a pleasure to have you here on the Creative Brief with Swaraj Singh. So, without further ado, let's jump into our very first question. So, there's a huge difference between being a great designer and being a founder building a product for other designers. One is about taste and craft, while the other is about listening, sipping, and surviving. Which role was harder for you to grow into, the designer or the founder?
That's a great question. I recently thought about it, and I would say for me, being a founder is a bit harder than I initially thought. I will explain why. Well, before when you working in company as a designer or as a developer, you have a scope of tasks that you have to done, and you know what you will do, others know what to expect from you, and it's a little bit easier. You done with your job, and majority cases you have weekends, you have holidays, you have days off. But when you become a founder, you one of a sudden responsible for all project, for all task, for all things. And for me, the toughest part was to be present all the time, because you're responsible for design, you're responsible for development, which features we will ship, which users will use this product, like product decisions, all this stuff. And when you have a big team, or when you YC startup, like all these big numbers, uh, and support from team, you are more capable of doing a bigger amount of things. But when you are founder of a small product, and you do in most cases all by your own, it's it's tough. But it's interesting, because when you communicate with users of your product, you learn from them. And because I'm designer and I'm building for designers, it's like intertwined things. It's I see the workflow of my daily on my daily basis, and I could actually see the gaps that I could, you know, fill in product. So I think it it's like my main idea about this.
I completely agree. Being a founder can be much harder than being a designer or developer. When you are building a product, especially a small one, every decision falls on you. You are responsible for almost everything. It can be stressful, but at the same time, those challenges help you grow. The difficult things you face today are often what makes you stronger and smarter tomorrow. So, for everyone watching, don't be afraid of hard things. That's where most of the learning happens. So, all right, let's move to the second question. A colleague once described you as someone who not only learns design deeply, but also understand how products and businesses work, always looking for way to improve system with less effort. That sound more like a system thinker than just a creative person. When did you realize that process matter just as much as aesthetics?
Well, that's interesting question. I couldn't actually say at which stage I realized this, but I was always a person who asked a lot. I ask a lot of information before starting working on something. I always was interested in bigger picture why I do this, why this matters, and all this stuff. So my general idea, whenever I try to to work on something, is to understand why behind the task. And sometimes it's not about makes things uh, prettier aesthetically. Sometimes it's reducing this even. So yes, that's it.
That was such a great point. I think one question every designer should ask is why does this matter? Because design alone isn't enough if it doesn't solve a problem or serve a purpose. Process and intention matter just as much as aesthetics. Really love that answer. So, can we move to the third question? Take it. Beginners who want to develop real design taste, not just follow trends, but build their own perspective. Where should they look for inspiration and what should they stop consuming?
Well, I will just tell you a story. Before I will answer your question, I will just tell you a story. 5 years ago, five, yeah, seems 5 years ago, when I just started my design career as a designer, at my first job, I had a really tough times. Well, when you just new in this and you don't actually know what is good and what is not actually that good. So I remember I was given a task. I don't know, redesign something, banner. It was banner seams, and I just designed it like almost a week. And I have a person who was guiding me, like my design fellow, and I was like, I saw the desperate in their voice about my design choices, about my design in general, and I feel so bad. I honestly I thought that design is not my thing. So I would just say, um, do not give up. Just continue. Do something. Not every day, by the way. It's really um important to say to you, not do not do this every day. If you feel like you struggle, take time. Do not do design. Just close all tab, close laptop, and go out. Go outside, touch the grass. Like this. Like, uh, it's just the matter of time. You just need to accept that you wouldn't be the best designer in 1 year in your career. I can't say I am good designer. Honestly, I felt bad. Even now, I think it's my trauma from my first workplace. But I just want to say to you, uh, the best places to watch for inspiration. Well, I would suggest not to look at mock-ups. Try to look at real websites, because in majority cases they are, you know, built by teams, and you know design decisions there is proven. So that's why I think you you will take more um, good design from real websites. Of course, you can check save.design because I personally curate all these other guys who submit their work to the feed. It's good quality. So in general, all design inspirations directories where the websites are real, they are, if they are curated, they will be good. But remember that design mockups, just screenshots, or design work from other guys who just post on occasionally on Twitter, on Dribble, on social media, not always the best resource, because they could also still learning, and that the design could not be that the best that can they deliver, especially if you're new. Just go see and watch the real websites, and you will be okay. Try to understand why behind every website, um, why it's good. What I'm talking about here is um, the layout, the positioning of images, the text, how they combine fonts, monospaced with serif fonts, all this stuff, forms, colors, how they use this, the transitions, the micro interactions, how you feel about the website, what atmosphere they try to show to you, like give, uh, how to say this correctly, the feeling that they want you to feel. Especially for me, my personal favorite part is turn on the sound. If the team who designed the website uh, added the sound to their website, especially if it's just landing, not a product, it's interesting to see what sound, uh, how they add sound to the experience. you know, the general rule here is be mindful about what you are watching. Assess it, save it, mm, replicate it as you think. Mm, just try to consume a lot of good work, and over time, it will help you to develop your taste and you know just mm, be better at it. So that's it.
That answer had so much value in it. One thing I have noticed in that every experienced designer or developer says something similar. No matter how successful they become, they felt the same fear, anxiety, and self doubt that beginners feels today. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, do what Violetta suggested. Close your laptop, step outside, get some rest, and give yourself some peace. Then come back with the fresh mind. There's nothing wrong with taking your time. And another thing she said that I really loved, look at the real website inspiration. They are successfully for a reason. If you want to improve your design taste, consume great work, study it deeply, and expose yourself to lots of ideas. That's how your own ideas start to grow. Okay. And of course, you can go and check it out, save.design. Okay, let's move to the fourth question. You design, code, run a product, judge on awards, and study AI. You do many things very intentionally. If you had to give beginners just one thing to focus on in their first year, not a skill or tool, but a mindset or habit, what would it be?
Well, I think it's important to build a foundation. So my answer will be focus on building foundation. Whenever the topic you choose, when you have a foundation, you can layer up a lot of things on it. So so focus on this in the first year, and this will play a huge role in next years. And I think the second one is finishing things. Like build the habit, finish the projects you started, and it will plays a huge role also, because it will teaches you momentum. It will teaches you discipline. Like, and at the end of the year, you could really see the progress of your learning, and and it will make you proud of yourself at the end of year. So it's really important, and I think this is the main idea. What do you think?
I completely agree with this. One of the biggest reasons people quit is because things become difficult. They start a project, face challenges, and stop halfway. But those challenges are actually the best teachers you ever have. Finish what you have started, complete your projects, and as Violetta said, focus on building a strong foundation first. That's one of the most important investments you can make in yourself. Okay, all right, let's move to the fifth question. What one mistake you see beginners making again and again that nobody tells them directly?
I think the main mistakes is not finishing the things they are started. The projects, the ideas, the concepts, they are just blurred in some drafts, and at the end of the year, it's just mess of things. And I also, if we talk about like in general about mindset, if we talk about designing, I feel like designers, especially you, me, myself also, when I started, I combined a lot of different fonts and shades. I don't know what the problem was with me, but I don't just don't use shades if you are new. Just don't use shades, okay? It's you will work with this later on, but not now. I don't know. It's just I don't know why this happened. It happened to me also, but the problem with shades and with amount of multiple colors is really thing this thing the thing like I don't know, especially for designers, it's just I don't know why, but do not combine a lot of shades, a lot of colors in one landing or a product, because it will eventually become a mess. So that's my probably mm, main mistakes I spot recently.
First of all, thank you for calling me as a designer. Sometimes I don't even consider myself one yet, but I absolutely love this answer. Don't leave everything in draft. Finish things, publish things, put your work out there. And another important point, don't overdo everything. Too many colors, too many fonts, too many elements. Simplicity is powerful. Learn to be minimal when needed. And of course, create a lot. The one way to get better is by creating over and over again. Okay, so now, Violetta, it's time for our final question. If you could go back to your earlier days, what one thing you would stop doing immediately, and what one thing you will double down on?
Well, I think I would stop hurrying up. You know, this rush that, oh my gosh, I need to go like to the next, to the next, to the next topic, tutorial, project, etc. It's just, it's just wrong position of mind, I think, because when you stay with it sometime, when you just enjoy the process, it becomes really your thing. You just start to see the progress. You just start to love what you do, because when you try to hurry up, and you lose the meaning, like with if we take today's world with this AI technologies, it just the code is written by AI like in 3 5 seconds, but is it really understanding of things? Is it really your understanding? Like, you know what I'm talking about? So I think it's stop rushing, just calm down, put off all the pressure you have on yourself. I know you have. So just enjoy the things. I don't know. Probably I'm too positive about all this stuff, but I just think that the point of life in general is just enjoying the process. Why hurry up? Like I don't like this concept. I understand that we live in this world where we need constantly um, move fast, but at the same time, you need to spot this feeling of enjoying solving hard problems, solving tasks, spending time designing, like moving those pixels if you're a designer. So I think this is my answer, and I hope you got the point of it. So yeah.
That was probably my best answer of the episode. I have said this many times before, don't rush. Most of us entered this field because we love it. We love design, we love animation, we love creating websites. So enjoy the process. If you are constantly rushing and never enjoying the journey, you are missing one of the best parts of this profession. That's my final takeaway. So, Violetta, thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful talking with you. Your answers were thoughtful and inspiring, and of course, genuinely beautiful. And for everyone watching, here's the biggest lessons from this episode: finish your drafts, complete your projects, build strong foundations, don't be afraid of difficult challenges, and most importantly, enjoy the process. So, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode with another amazing guest. Bye.